Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Richmond's National Drive Electric Week event. As you can see, it's our first time going virtual, and we're really excited to share a lot of information with you today. So without further ado, I'm going to just share a little bit of information, what to expect. Today we're going to have this presentation divided into two sections. First is Electric Vehicles 101, and you'll find out a little bit more about electric vehicles, clean transportation incentive programs, Richmond charging options, vehicle financing and incentive programs. We have an electric vehicle owner panel, and we have two virtual test drives. We'll definitely get to one, but if we have time, we'll do both. And then at the end of section one, we'll have a question and answer for all the presentations that occurred in section one. Then we're going to enter section two, which is Electric Bikes 101, financing and incentives, gotcha bike share information, and then on section three, we're going to have a look toward a new e-mobility solution. And we'll wrap everything up with a Q&A after section three. So let's start. Today's presenters vary, and they're all experts in their own right. We have Julia Isabel Rivera from Center for Sustainable Energy, Rebecca Gutierrez, the Vice President of Marketing from Blink, Scott Altman, Manager Site Development from Volta, Annika Osborne, Community Outreach and Program Director. She's actually going to be wearing two hats today. She's also going to be on our EV owner panel. Diana Salinas from Marketing Outreach. She's a marketing outreach coordinator for Community Housing Development Corporation. We have Johnny Hill. He is actually a city employee and an electric auto owner who will be a panelist. Tom Brezen, he's a business development owner and a EV enthusiast, who's also on our panel. Najari Smith, he's the executive director of Rich City Rides here in the city of Richmond. Corey Riley is a transportation demand program manager for WICTAC and 511 Contra Costa. And Bryce Jameson, the CEO and founder of EVSE Technologies, is going to introduce new mobility. Okay, so electric vehicle basics. An electric vehicle is any vehicle that can drive on electricity, whether you plug it into a wall or you charge it with a charging station. If it's all electric, that means that's the only way that it can be fueled, by plugging into a wall and a charging station. Gasoline is not available for that option. A plug-in electric has a combination of a battery and gas tank and can be fueled, but it also uses gas and can go longer range when using both fuels. There's a lot of benefits to electric vehicles. It's affordable. A lot of people say it has better performance. The torque from start to go is that of like a sports car without the gas emissions. New vehicles. There are more than 40 models of electric vehicles on the market, starting around 30,000. And many of the vehicles have excess of 250 miles. You'll see at the end of this presentation, we're going to provide a list of resources, and plugstar.com has a list of all vehicles, financing options, and a financing calculator for you to use. Used vehicles are also a great option because the batteries have a long life and they're very reliable and less costly than buying a new vehicle. You're going to learn about used vehicle purchasing today. So, very basic. Some of our presenters are going to expand on this, but there are 3 levels of charging. At home, you use level 1. It's basic standard wall plug-in, and it takes a little bit longer to charge, mostly for overnight charging. Then there's level 2s that you usually use at work, and that's basically to top off your battery energy to get you home. And it's done between 2 and 4 hours. And then on the go, going cross country, longer distance, Level 2s are good, and also level 3 or fast chargers, which can charge between 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on the battery size of your vehicle. So the charging level depends on how far you want to go. 40 miles overnight charge at level 1 at home. Level 2, a 240 volt outlet will give you about 25 miles per hour of charging. That's the level of charging that we provide here at the City of Richmond for our city employees. They're allowed to charge up to 4 hours free a day. And then we also have a DC fast charger here in the City of Richmond at the Kennedy Swim Center. And some vehicles cannot accept that, but if your vehicle can use a DC fast charger and have the correct connectors, you can charge between 20 and 40 minutes. There's a lot of federal, state, and local incentives to make EVs affordable. You're going to hear from our next presenter a little bit more about that, but basically the federal vehicle tax credit offers up to $7,500 for the purchase of a new vehicle, and it depends on the battery capacity. I was also informed recently that it depends on the time of year you purchase a vehicle. So if you purchase in the first half of the calendar year, you're likely to get the full amount, and in the second half of the calendar year, it might be a little reduced. Federal charging equipment, you get a tax credit, and also you want to check with your local city and also your local utilities to see if they offer additional incentives for home charging and business charging. So first up, Julia Isabel Rivera. She's the equity specialist in clean transportation for the Center of Sustainable Energy. Julia, please take it away.
All right, so thank you so much for having me here today. Happy to be here to represent the Center for Sustainable Energy. So I'll go ahead and get started with the Clean Transportation Incentive Programs. So first, we have the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, or CVRP. This is a statewide program administered by the Center for Sustainable Energy for the California Air Resources Board. This program offers a rebate of up to $7,000 for the purchase or lease of a new and eligible electric vehicle. You must apply within 3 months of your purchase or lease date, and then you would receive your rebate in the form of a check. As far as vehicle eligibility goes, again, the vehicle must be new and it must be on our eligible vehicle list. And this list can be found right on our website, cleanvehiclerebate.org. In addition to that, the odometer reading must be less than 7,500 miles. MSRP must be below $60,000, and you must own the vehicle for at least 30 months. Now, as far as applicant eligibility, you have to be a California resident, and you must also meet income requirements. So here's the first piece to those income requirements. Your gross annual income must be below the following income caps. That's $150,000 for single filers, $204,000 for head of household filers, and $300,000 for joint filers. Now, the second piece to this income eligibility is with regards to the increased rebate amount. This is for lower and moderate income consumers. So looking at this chart right here, if you go and look at your combined household income, and it is less than or equal to the amounts here, depending on your household size, then you would be eligible for CVRP's increased rebate amount, which is an additional $2,500. So for example, if you're in a household size of 5 and your combined household income is less than or equal to $92,040, you would be eligible for that increased rebate amount. So here's a chart kind of summarizing that up. Again, the rebate amount does depend on the type of electric vehicle that you get. So generally, the less emissions, the more savings you get from CVRP. And it also, like I mentioned, relies on the income. So let's say, for example, you bought an all-battery electric vehicle and you do meet the income requirements for the lower brackets, your rebate amount would be $4,500 from CVRP. Otherwise, if you are still below the income caps that I went over earlier, you would receive the $2,000 standard rebate amount. And that sums it up for CVRP. So I'll go ahead and move on to Clean Cars for All. This is a vehicle replacement program by the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. And to participate, consumers have to live in the Bay Area Air District's jurisdiction. So to check if your zip code does qualify, you can check at the website listed below. You must also meet the income requirements and also retire an operational vehicle that is model year 2005 or older. So a vehicle that's 15 years or older. Clean Cars for All does have several grant options available, so I'll go through a few different scenarios. So let's say you've already retired that older vehicle. So one scenario is in return, you will receive up to $9,500, depending on your income, which you can use towards the purchase or lease of a new or used electric vehicle. And now, since you went that route, you would also be eligible for another up to $2,000 grant towards a home charger or portable charging. So that's one option right there. So another scenario is if you don't necessarily want to buy another car, so instead you could get a Clipper card worth $7,500. So that is a big Clipper card right there. And so those are the current options available. And Clean Cars for All does have future options planned out. So let's say you don't want to get another vehicle and you also don't need that Clipper card. Another option in the future would be $7,500 towards car share or $7,500 towards e-bikes. So e-bikes are becoming more and more popular in the Bay Area, so that's actually super exciting. And another option that they have planned is a grant up to $1,000 towards public EV charging. To apply, you have to bring your old car to an authorized dismantler. So a list of these dismantlers are on their website. And if you're eligible, you'll receive your award letter. And then from there, you can purchase or lease that new or used EV or collect your preloaded Clipper card. Now, an important note here is that funding for Clean Cars for All is currently exhausted, but you can still apply to their wait list. And they do encourage that if you're interested to apply as soon as possible. So just as a reminder, Clean Cars for All and CVRP are stackable, meaning that you can combine savings from both programs. You can participate in both. But in order to combine the savings, you'd have to purchase or lease a new vehicle. So before you make that purchase or lease of that new vehicle, go ahead and apply for Clean Cars for All first. And once that vehicle is all yours, you can go ahead and apply for the CVRP rebate. And that concludes my presentation. So if anyone has any questions after today's presentation or today's webinar, go ahead and feel free to email me at julia.rivera@energycenter.org. Thank you so much.
But next, let's talk about charging around the city of Richmond. First person up is Rebecca Gutierrez, Vice President of Marketing in Blink. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Danae. Welcome, everyone. I know this isn't nearly as much fun as when they're in person, but what can we do, right? Just bring up some slides here. I wanted to just very briefly introduce myself and the company that I work for. Again, my name's Rebecca. I work for Blink Charging. So who's Blink Charging? Especially for those 50% of you who said you're just considering the EV, you haven't made the switch yet. We're a charging infrastructure provider. So what we do is put up the charging stations throughout the city so that you can plug in your vehicle when you're on the go. Whether this is in a multi-family building, maybe you live in a condo like myself, or maybe this is at your workplace, like the city of Richmond has workplace chargers, or maybe it's at the mall or other retail locations. Basically anywhere you're gonna spend some time, that's where we go and put in our level 2 charging stations. So Blink's been in business for over 11 years now doing this. We were one of the very first companies doing EV charging back when everyone's like, EVs will never catch on. And we're growing steadily and rapidly, so a lot of fun. So I wanted to kind of recap. I know Danae went over the different types of charging, but I did want to kind of talk a little bit about that as well, because it's ironically the most frequent question that our call center has, they get is, I just bought an EV, help me, I don't know how to charge it for the first time. And once you get over that hump, it's really pretty easy. So help, I don't know how to charge my car. It's really quite simple. You understand the different kinds of charging. So level 1, as Danae had talked about, is just your standard wall plug. You can literally plug in your car to a wall plug. It's extremely slow charging, but it will charge you. If you live in a single family home and you don't drive much, this could be a solution for you. It just gets tacked onto your electric bill, and there you go. We like to say you can get 2 to 5 miles of range per hour. So as you see, it is quite slow. For a lot of the newer vehicles coming out, it's not a very good solution. So predominantly charging is level 2. You're going to get that level 2 charging with the 240 volts at your workplace, at the store, at the mall, at hotels, in multifamily buildings. It's very common, and it's obviously a much quicker kind of charge. Blink offers 80 amp charging. So without getting super technical, what does that mean? That means you can fill up a car in 4 to 8 hours. So figure level 1 could take you a couple days. We've dramatically cut that in half with the level 2 charging. It can fill up a hybrid in an hour to 2 hours. Install cost is significantly more expensive. So this is not something you're probably going to put in your home. But there are level 2 home chargers that are slightly slower. In fact, I believe we're giving one away here, a Blink charging station for your home. And you will get a much quicker charge again than that level 1 charger. It works very much like a plug for your dryer. You just connect it, and then once you have the charger, you're on your way when you get home from work, and you'll have a full battery in the morning. Something to note, almost all cars in North America have a standard plug. And you see little pictures there of the plugs. There's the J1772. This is truly the North American standard for electric vehicles. Tesla has a slightly different plug. That's okay, they can do their thing. If you do drive a Tesla, you can just get a simple adapter because most charging stations are J1772. So you'll just need that adapter to plug in on Blink equipment or on any of our competitors' equipment as well. And then the last one, Danae did mention there is a DC fast enrichment at the swim center. That's fantastic. It provides a very quick charge. There's a lot of technical reasons for that. It goes directly into the battery. I'm going to cover that very briefly, but it is a very fast charge. They're extremely expensive to install. They do degrade the car's battery a little bit each time, but you will be on your way very, very quickly. You can get an 80% charge in 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the battery size. So another question we get asked so frequently is, how fast does my car charge? And you're gonna hate the answer. Everyone hates the answer. It depends. It really depends. It depends on the size of the battery in your car. So there's no standard battery size for the electric vehicles. The ranges change because of the battery size. So it depends on your battery size. It also depends on the charging station. As I said, Blink has an 80 amp charging station, which is a fast level 2 charging station. There are others that are only 40 amp. So as you can imagine, if you go to a charging station that has half as much electricity coming out of it, you're going to charge slower. And then lastly, level 2 charging actually doesn't go directly to the battery. It goes to an onboard charger in your car. And that onboard charger can only receive the electricity from the charging station and convert it into DC for the battery at certain speeds. So that depends. There's a lot of great resources on websites that can help you understand charging speeds for a specific car. So if you're looking at a car, you could probably just do a quick Google search and get some answers as well. Or call our customer service center and they'll walk you through it as well. So we're excited to be here. We're here in part, I think, because we've just announced that we're going to be putting a bunch of stations in Richmond. So we actually are going to be deploying our level 2 charging stations across 5 locations initially, a total of 14 charging stations. So they're currently, I think they're like literally working on them this week, if not today. So you can't use them until probably next week, but they are coming very, very imminently. And they are at the Richmond Ferry Terminal, the Port, Bayview Library, May Valley Fire Station 63, and Fire Station 62. Now, what's interesting about Blink equipment, more from like the city's perspective when they decided to go with the Blink chargers, but also a little bit on the consumer side, is that we have several different configurations of our equipment. So I just kind of wanted to walk you through what to expect when these start popping up all over the city. So 3 of the locations have what we call the advanced unit. It can do everything you need to do. You touch the screen, start a charge, and you're on your way. So there will be 6 of these at 3 different locations there, 2 at the port, and then 2 at each of the fire stations. Then we have what we call a dual port charger. The reason it's dual port is because there's 2 charging stations. There's one with a screen and one without a screen. That helped bring the purchase cost down for the city, but it also provides you 2 different charging ports, so 2 people can use it at once. There will be 4 of these at the library. We also have something called the smart kiosk configuration. There will be 4 of these at Richmond Terminal. As you can see on the left, there's a kiosk, and then there's the stations without the kiosk. So the 4 stations without the kiosk, you can start a charge from your mobile app. You can start a charge from calling our customer service center or through your cell phone, or but there is no screen. If you need the screen to start a charge, there will be one located very closely by. You just go in, enter your charger number, and be on your way. In fact, I have a little video, just 10 seconds or so, to show you on that one, just because it is the most different, because most charging stations do have screens. So that's what you can expect with the charging stations that are coming to Richmond. As I mentioned, there's several different ways you could start a charge. We do have a Blink card. A Blink card is tied to your membership. Your membership is free. You don't need an EV to have one either. So if you're curious, sign up for a membership and start poking around. A Blink code, which is if you want to charge as a guest, you can get a Blink code. You can charge on the mobile app, of course, and you can call our customer service center 24/7. So I'm just very quickly gonna flip over to this video.
To start a charge with the Blink Smart Charger is easy. Blink Smart Chargers don't have screens, but it's as easy to start a charge as with other equipment. After parking, be sure to plug in your car. Take note of the Smart Charger number. If you have the Blink mobile app, simply click Charge. If you don't have the app, head to the nearby Blink kiosk. Signage should indicate where it is located. Touch the screen and enter the 3-digit charger number. You can now start the charge by using your member card, a guest code, or by using the Blink mobile app. Once the screen activates, press Charge, or the charge will also start automatically after 20 seconds. Back at your smart charger, the indicator light will flash blue, indicating the charge has started. You're all set and can be on your way. If your car finishes charging, the charger light will change to solid green, or you can simply unplug your car, return the plug to the unit, and you're all set. Your session details will be emailed to you. Thank you for charging with Blink.
It's very exciting. I briefly mentioned the membership. I'm not going to belabor the point because there's so many people who don't yet have cars. But I will say, if you're interested, become a member, see what it offers. If you have a membership, we have a new pro membership. You might want to consider upgrading. If you're interested in buying the home unit on Amazon, we'll give you a 25% discount for upgrading too. So we have all kinds of benefits for our members, and we're always looking at how we can expand those more to make EV driving and EV charging more appealing for you guys. That's all for me. Please don't hesitate to put any questions in there, and I will certainly answer them as we go through. But thank you for your time and attention. I really appreciate it.
So, Rebecca, I am looking at a couple of questions. I'm going to break a little bit here just so you can answer some questions and looking at the time. Bill Pinkham asked, how much does Blink charging charge for one charge? Is there any break for multiple charges? And then Doug asked, which charger did you say degrades the battery? And Matthew asked, can you comment on the CHARGE Act that was just passed today?
I can't because I've been in meetings all day, unfortunately. So I haven't even read the news. I catch up with that in the evening. So I feel pretty bad about that one, but no, I'm sorry, I can't answer that. Degrading the battery. So this is actually a little bit of a controversial issue, but it is showing when you charge your battery really fast directly from a DC fast charger, it will degrade your battery. Now, is it enough to significantly deter you from using DC fast? Absolutely not. I think DC fast is an extremely important part of the charging experience. You know, if you're driving a long distance and you're along a highway or something, you're going to want to pull over and get as much range as you can get as quickly as you can get. But for everyday charging, it is preferable to use the level 2 charging. The first question, so the charging rates, it's a little bit complicated. It's probably one of the most frustrating driver experiences is our industry does not have any kind of systemic pricing. So what Blink is trying to do is even out the pricing. So without going too in detail about how pricing is established with various business models and different charging providers, such as ourselves and our competitors, if Blink owns and operates the equipment in any kind of facility, then we standardize the pricing rates. You can find all of the pricing rates up on the blinkcharging.com because they do change from time to time, but we are trying to get a more consistent experience for everyone. Because other charging providers just sell equipment, then what happens is you may go to one location and it'll be free, and maybe you'll have a poor charging experience, maybe it's really, really slow, or maybe you'll have a good experience and they're just trying to attract you to their location. Other people who purchase charging equipment may decide they want to make a lot of money on this and charge a lot of money. So there's no consistent charging pricing, but there is a Blink as long as we own the equipment, which is the majority of our equipment we actually do own. So I can just give you an idea. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I believe it's 49 cents for members in California and 59 cents for guests. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Rebecca, for everything. And we're going to move right along to Scott Altman from Volta. Volta came to the city of Richmond because we were looking for a way to finance our charging stations. And one of the ways we found to do so was to enter into public-private partnerships with private vendors and use our right-of-way to install chargers. So thank you, Scott. Take it away.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Share my screen. And first of all, thanks, Rebecca, for going through the EV 101. I do not have any EV 101 slides, so I appreciate you covering the basics here. So I just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen? All right, great. So hi, everyone. We are Volta Charging, and we provide free to use electric vehicle charging. Here at Volta, we believe there is a more elegant way to fuel an electric vehicle future than charging per electron. Founded in 2010 with the mission to further accelerate EV adoption, our founder, Scott Mercer, took a unique approach by combining storefront advertising and electric vehicle charging. And as a result, Volta now operates the largest free to the public EV charging network across the US and has given away over 70 million free miles and counting. Now, each one of our stations is deployed at high foot traffic locations and contains dual digital screens, which creates this really dynamic messaging network. Now, this network serves the public as both a free, sustainable amenity, as well as a community messaging service for things like COVID or things like getting out and voting. And it's also an advanced marketing tool for both local and established businesses. And because it's free, we tend to see about 4 times more utilization than any other EV charging vendor. So participating site partners, such as the City of Richmond, are able to attract more customers to their location. Now, in a national survey earlier this year, it was found that 71% of EV driving customers plan trips around retail destinations near convenient charging amenities. And what's more convenient than free to use and easy to find? Now, an additional value to the city and you all and their constituents is the ability to promote community events or public service announcements or emergency messaging. And this is an example that I just put together. This isn't actually displayed at this time. However, accelerating the adoption of EV charging for us requires more than providing free charging. It requires the ability to build charging networks the right way. And here at Volta, we utilize data modeling and artificial intelligence to best predict where, what speeds, and how much charging is needed across geographies to meet both current and future EV charging demand. Now, if we take a look within a 10-mile radius of Point Richmond, or sorry, not Point Richmond, the city of Richmond, there are almost 14,000 plug-in vehicles, which is almost 2,000% higher than the national average. There's also a diverse selection of electric vehicle models within this 10-mile radius. So, for us, it's really important to provide infrastructure that services all your electric vehicle visitors and drivers. Now, we understand that available electric vehicle charging infrastructure is a critical factor in the shift towards electrifying transportation. And so as of today, fairly recently, our partnership with the city of Richmond consists of 2 level 2 chargers at the local BART station on McDonald Avenue. And we're just really excited to further support the city's efforts to build out their infrastructure, especially since electric vehicle concentration is so high and is going to continue to grow. Now, the Richmond Volta stations are not only accessible to all plugins, but also the first free-to-use electric vehicle charging station on a public right-of-way in the state of California that didn't cost a dime of taxpayer money. And again, these are what Rebecca referred to as the universal charging handle. So any plugin can use these charging stations. So for the EV drivers on this call, feel free to download the Volta app so you can start planning your shopping around our free electric vehicle chargers. And for local businesses that might be on the call and interested in either sponsoring Volta chargers or advertising on our network, please feel free to email me at the contact listed on this next slide. And I will go ahead and stop there. But here you can see how often our stations are utilized.
Thank you, Scott. I will say that we've received a lot of positive feedback about the free charging stations, especially downtown. And people have been asking where we're going to install our next units. So we'll continue to work with you on that. Okay, next up, we have Diana Salinas, Marketing Outreach Coordinator from Community Housing Development Corporation.
Thank you, Danae. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So thank you again for having us. Driving Clean Assistance Program is part of the Community Housing Development Corporation, and we're here in North Richmond. Our program is an economic empowerment program, and we seek to improve the lives of our participants by combining low interest loans with financial education, budget counseling, and the grant from the state California Air Resources Board. And they give it up to $5,000 for the purchase of a used or new electric vehicles. We serve 12 counties, Contra Costa being one of them, and here for Richmond residents. What we offer is a grant of up to $5,000 based on 400% of the federal poverty level, so we have income requirements. The loan amount is up to $20,000, and that the loan amount is what's it called? Excuse me, I lost my thoughts here, but the loan amount is decided based on your individual financial picture, which your counselors, when you apply, will help you see how much that is. The maximum term amount is 60 months, and the interest rate is up to 8%. Participants after purchase are also eligible for an additional grant for either a portable or a home option. Then the grant is up to $2,000. So the participant will submit an application. We'll work with a loan coordinator, and we'll help you through the process of using an approved vendor, selecting a vehicle that is appropriate with your lifestyle, we ask that the dealerships give a Carfax, a diagnostic check, and a purchase agreement, and we review that with our clients to make sure that they understand what their purchase is. From there on, we collect documents and we assist, and we basically, that's what issues the grant for the participant. So the grant is given directly to the dealer and it buys down the actual purchase price of the vehicle. The program requirements are for the participant to be registered in California. We require for case management by assisting with payments or not assisting with payments, but ensuring that if there's any counseling that's needed to make the appropriate payment within the their financial picture, that we're involved in that. So definitely a lot of high touch as the participant goes through our process. Here's an example of Mr. A's story. He was able to purchase a 2016 Mercedes-Benz. His actual purchase price was $18,903.71. With our incentive, his financed amount was $13,903. But he was also able to staff with a PCE rebate, so he had an additional $2,000 amount. So his total cost was $11,903.71. And again, from application to style to financing options, our loan coordinators are helping them through that whole purchase. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call or visit us at dcap.communityhdc.org. Of course, this was a very high level overview of the program and what it offers, but I definitely recommend to anyone who is interested in purchasing, which we said is about 50% of those participating today, to take a look at our website and apply, because it's a great program and we really hold your hand and answer questions as much as we can.
Thank you, Diana. That's very helpful. And I will say that we've had city employees purchase vehicles, and you're going to hear a little bit about that through the program, and they have rave reviews. Next up, we have Annika Osborne. She's responsible for community outreach and she's a program director for Drive Clean Bay Area. And Annika, one of the questions that I see right now when it comes time for the EV panel is if you could touch upon the cost of recharging the vehicle and how much it costs at home and how it impacts your electricity rate. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. So hi, I'm Annika Osborne and I work with Cool the Earth and Drive Clean Bay Area. We do programming in schools, workplaces, and community programs. So one of Cool the Earth's basic programs is Drive Clean Bay Area, with the mission to drastically reduce carbon emissions and air pollution. We educate and engage consumers on their journey to driving electric. And we'll be offering a preferred pricing campaign this November. But I wanted to talk a little bit about just, you know, how we, a little bit about my family and our EVs. So just a couple of months ago, my family went all electric. So we have one long range EV for road trips that we picked up last year so it's a Tesla Model 3, and they came out with a $35,000 car. And basically it was the cheapest electric vehicle out there that went over 200 miles. So we were super excited when this came out. And my daughters play a lot of volleyball, and we go to tournaments all around Northern California. So super happy to be able to drive like part of the carpool around, emissions free. Sometimes we often tend to go up to Reno, and we'll have to stop just once for like 15 minutes to charge. And the girls will all get snacks, and then we'll just head on back out. So it's not inconvenient at all, even for longer road trips. So just like a month before the shelter in place started, our lease was up on our Subaru. And so we decided to buy a used Volkswagen e-Golf. And so even though this car only gets has an 80-mile range, it really works out great for our family. It's kind of the car that we take when we go around town and run errands. My daughters, well, they did for a month before they didn't go to school anymore, but they would drive, it's the car that they drive to school and back. And it's really peppy and fun to drive. We can drive it to the beach. We can drive it to the city and back. It has enough range for that. So I'll tell you a little bit about how we charge it at home. This is we have this like kind of long driveway. So we have 2 charging stations at home. One that's a 240 charging station. We use that for the Tesla. And then the other one is we just charge off of the 120 for the Volkswagen e-Golf. And it works out great. Actually, the first year, we only use the 120 outlet. We just plugged it in every night, and you're able to get like 40 to 50 miles overnight of a charge, which is more than we use during the day. So that's been working out really great. And yeah, in terms of electricity costs, it ends up costing about 5 cents a mile to drive electric, as opposed to 15 cents a mile on driving a gas car. So it's about 1/3 the cost of what our gas bill used to be. And the other thing that, a lot of people think, oh, it's so inconvenient, I have to go charge, for a lot of people, if you're able to charge your car at home or at work, it's very convenient. You just plug it in and it takes care of itself. It charges up, So that's easy. You don't have to go to a gas station anymore. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, we love not having to go to gas stations. It's kind of nice. And this is just kind of some up close pictures of how we charge. This picture on the left is our 120 outlet. It's a regular 120 outlet that we had installed in our driveway, so we could easily just plug in there. And what's nice about that is that it costs $0. It's completely free. We actually had like an extension cord. Before we had installed this outlet, we had an extension cord. That was our only expense. And then to the right, you'll see this is the 240 volt charging station. We didn't need to buy a charging station with the Tesla. We just have like an adapter that we plug in. So that wasn't so bad at all. Danae, do you want me to share a little bit about like the power shutdown stuff now? Is that?
Yeah, so you covered I'm sorry.
I just talked a little bit about charging. Should we talk a little bit about like when we have a PG&E power shutdown, what we do?
Yes, please. Yes,
okay.
Please.
All right. So yeah, a lot of people are concerned about, when they turn off our energy. We lost our power 5 days last year, which was pretty inconvenient. So I had picked up this little inverter. You can see this little red inverter that's plugged in here. It's a 300 watt inverter. I picked it up on Amazon for like under $30. And so during the power shutdown, I was able to plug that in with an extension cord, and then I could plug in a bunch of like lights. So that way we had light in our house in the evenings. So we're actually just plugging into the 12 volt battery, but that is being charged by the larger electric battery. So it's a 300 watt inverter. This particular light takes 30 watts to light. And we had some strings of lights that we brought into our house. Each string only takes like 3 watts of energy. So that worked out really well. And it gave us a little bit of comfort, some light in the evening, which was really nice. A lot of people right now are like, oh, I need to go and buy a gas generator for the next power shutdown. But, really, when we do that, we're just like fueling the fire more, right? It's like more carbon emissions, and that's what we're trying to reduce. And then this is an inverter that, it's a 1200 watt inverter that I'm demonstrating here on the Volkswagen e-Golf. So you just kind of clamp it on to the 12 volt battery with like, there's a black and the red, clamps, just like when you're like jump starting somebody's car or something. So I just clamp those on, and then I'm able to, like, what I will be able to do if we have another power shutdown, which seems imminent here, is I'll be able to charge my refrigerator or power up my refrigerator for like 3 days, because this is a 1200 watt inverter. And even though the range of the Volkswagen e-Golf is only 80 miles, that's enough for 3 days of powering up my refrigerator. So I will say that this is something that I've played around with, that I'm using. A lot of people who I work with have been using, but you'll definitely always want to check with the manufacturer to make sure this doesn't like void a warranty or anything like that. But I'm excited to try this new inverter. I didn't try it last time around, but I have a friend who used this on his e-Golf and it worked just fine for 3 days. I think some more technologies with inverters will be coming our way pretty soon. So we'll be seeing a little bit more like battery to grid or EV battery to home technology arising. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, well, we have quite a few questions in the question room, but in the interest of time, I would like to go ahead and push to the next presenter. Everyone, Johnny Hill is KCRT extraordinaire support person. He's great, and he's also a recent owner of electric vehicles, and he found out a lot of his information at our last National Drive Electric event. Take it away, Johnny.
Right, so just real quick before I share my screen, I just want to say thank you to Danae. It was exactly this time about a year ago, maybe a little bit before this time. I think it was around September when I got all my information. So I had met CHDC, I'm sorry, at the Drive Clean event right here at the city of Richmond. And they hooked me up with a program that gave me $5,000 towards my car. And let me share my screen with you. So this is me at the city of Richmond where I'm employed at, charging my car at the charge station. City employees, we get about a 3-hour free charge. So my particular car is a plug-in hybrid. So I only get about 30 miles of electricity per charge, but the gas on my vehicle is really, really exceptional. During the week when I drive my car, because I grew up here in Richmond on the south side, and I currently still live in Richmond. So during the week, I don't put any gas in my car at all. And on the weekends, if we travel, then that's usually when I put gas in. So I've saved at least $200 to $300 a month on gas, going from visiting family in Stockton to Sacramento to other Bay Area places. I still have family in San Francisco. So this is really helpful to take my kids on outings. My oldest son plays high school football, so it's really easy to take him and 1 or 2 of his other teammates on long destinations to like Pacifica or Santa Rosa area. And how we access this EVgo charger at the city of Richmond is through this app. And there's 3 charge stations in the Art Center parking lot, which this one right here, if you see on the screen, it says Barrett Avenue, Richmond Art Center. So there's 3 of them there. And then there's another one located more close to the library. Here's a picture of my engine. So like I said, it's a plug-in hybrid, so it's charge electricity and gas. So you still have to get an oil change. Not as often as other cars, because like I said, I don't use gas as much in oil. So I've gotten an oil change on this vehicle once, about a month or 2 ago. And like I said, I got this car around last year, around this time, like right before Halloween. So yeah, my wife is currently working with CHDC to get a vehicle as well. And the EVgo chargers that are located right by the library were also at the event, and I had signed up with them, and they had also sent me a free charger, which I currently can't use yet because I live in an apartment, so I don't have the charge capabilities at home, but I'm looking to buy a house soon in order to have that. And plus they also gave me $1,000 charge card just for signing up with them, which I haven't used much, only when we go to like Stockton area, and then I'll charge down there. Because other than that, I usually just charge here at work. And that's about it. I just want to give another shout out to Tammy that works with CHDC, because she helped me along with my paperwork, along with Danae. And that includes my presentation.
Thank you, Johnny. Diana, are you still online? Someone asked about the interest rates being high. Why are they high when generally the rates are currently low?
Yeah, so what I said was that it maximizes at 8%. So it's really for those participants who have challenged credit, and it's to prevent predatory rates. You know, there are times where if you don't have the best credit, interest rates can be as high as 10%, 15, 20 or higher. And so it's capped at 8%. Now, if you have better credit, then there's potential of it being less. We also have the option of participants bringing their own financing, as long as it meets that 8% cap. And we have the option of bringing their own financing like cash. So there's definitely opportunities. It's to help get participants into electric vehicles. So we'll do our best to make sure that they're getting the best rate possible. Again, incorporating it all in their financial picture. And that's why it's so high touch. Yeah.
Thank you. So in the interest of time, we're going to move on to Tom Brezen, and he's also one of our owners on the EV panel.
I've had EV for about 5 years now. The first was a Think City. It's a small subcompact designed in Norway, and built, there's 1,000 built in the United States. I think it's the best car out there if they only had done it quite right and followed through on it. It fits spaces that no other car fits. My second is a 2018 Nissan Leaf, and it is very kind of a little bit adventurous as a road car. I've taken it down to Long Beach with one stretch that I was a little iffy. I'd go down to, I live mostly in Monterey area, and so it doesn't quite reach there, but I know the EV Go lots, and I still get them for free for a few more months under the purchase agreement from Nissan. And it has great acceleration, and I like it. Do you see now this car, that Leaf? The slide there shows Long Beach when it was all oil wells. And so it's a great transition between a nice clean parking lot from an oil field. Regular EV Go stations is this one in Richmond City Hall. And EV Go is kind of fun because they have named them after people. And apparently I found one with my name on it. So I tend to gravitate towards it. A lot of the stations I've used over the years is if they're facing south, the screens are almost illegible a lot of times during the day. Some of them I have to do it by braille almost, it's by memory. I cannot see the screen well enough to follow the prompts. So my suggestion, and we at our store in Richmond, we're going to put them in, and at any one of them will be facing north, so they'll be shaded for daytime use. Okay, this is the main building of property I own in Richmond, and Urban Farmer Store sells fish and irrigation and fish and outdoor lighting. And I've always wanted to try to roll back our company's footprint from a carbon point of view, and its and my own. And so what the goal is to produce on-site solar with battery storage. Just below the green sign in the front of the building are going to be 4 Tesla power walls that will allow us to collect energy and use it at night for nighttime fleet charging. And it will allow us not to have to draw off the grid during the high afternoon usage rates and demand. And so and when we do have to go off the grid, we signed up with Marine Clean Energy to supplement 100% renewable produced electrical energy. So we have had some help from the city of Richmond, thank you. The East Bay chapter of EVA, the Electric Vehicle Association, and its president, Ann Pacheco. We had our first couple meetings of the new chapter in the classroom in this building until COVID came around and we had to stop. So we only have a little bit of property to use for the charge lot. In this slide, the darker new asphalt you see goes down where only trucks go. They're rental yards for landscapers to store their vehicles and supplies, as well as the main business, the urban farmer store. So there's semis and trucks there, and it's not appropriate for quick charging stations of the general public. So the parking lot's on the front side of the building, right up against the south fence. And it has about a 5-foot strip that I can put stuff on. And then 10 feet I can't do anything on. I can pave it, but it's an easement for the sewer line that goes through there. So there was a portion of the property that I couldn't use for much, but I could put the charge stations, which would be 5 dual level 2 chargers. And each charger under this agreement for kind of workplace charge station approval is that they would be assigned to user groups. So each company that wanted one could have one and know that they would have access during the day and at night to charge vehicles. I want to finish that list of things we need. We need it reasonable, we need it reliable, and we need it convenient. And so this way, they'll know that they can invest in vehicles and always have a place to charge. Anyway, it's the Tesla power walls are back ordered. They should be here in a month or two. And then we're in final contract putting in the workstations. I mean, the charge stations.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. I'm going to have to move this along a little bit. I see there's quite a few questions in the chat room that we might not be able to get to, but feel free to email richmondparking@ci.richmond.ca.us and we will get you those answers. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our virtual test drive we just had with Hilltop Nissan.
Hello, my name is Daniel James here at Hanley's Hilltop Nissan in Richmond. Right here we have is a 2020 Nissan Leaf. This is more of a fully loaded type of vehicle. So you're gonna have the nice premium wheels, you're gonna have a 360 camera, Apple CarPlay, you're gonna have leather seats as well in this vehicle. Alrighty, so what we have right here is a DC fast charge. Also, you're gonna have your 120 to 240 charging station right here. Okay, so what we have right here is a 120 charging cable. Also, it can be converted to a 240 charging cable. This is a 240 charging cable. Also, we do get a converter. If you go to a friend's house and they have a regular wall outlet, you can always attach this and plug it to a wall. Okay, so everything is labeled very easily in this vehicle so you can see everything. So obviously you're gonna right here, if you look right here, this cap is the windshield wiper fluid, okay? Right here you're gonna have your braking fluid, your battery. This is a DC to DC converter, okay? Also, you're gonna have your coolant. In order to start the vehicle, you have to put your foot on the brake and press this button right here, okay? So we have our energy usage button here in the vehicle. If you go to that, it will say turn off climate control for a plus 44 mile range. Okay, so what that basically means, if you have this climate control on, you'll be losing 44 miles to your range. All right. What this is adaptive cruise control, so it automatically adapts to the environment. Okay. Steering assist is on. Okay. In order we know that everything is on correctly, we have all greens. Okay. See how we're already slowing down? We're already set at 68 miles an hour. We're going 60 right now because it's the radar sensor that is right here sees this vehicle ahead of us. Now it's moving over. Now we're going to start to speed up. As you can see, we're starting to speed up. Now we're going 60, 61, 62, 63, until it starts to see another vehicle. It will start to slow down again. See, now it says it sees a vehicle in front of us. This guy just cut us off. Now it's slowing down again. Now it's picking back up.
Hi, my name is Paul Pansella, and I'm a longtime faculty member at Western Michigan University, talking to you from Kalamazoo. The idea today is that I'm going to give you a little overview, share some of my experiences with driving a Chevy Bolt electric vehicle. Okay, so I'm taking you into the back wall of my garage. This is the equipment I use to charge my car in general when it's parked overnight here in my garage. What I have is a open EVSE charging unit, level 2. Came in a kit form, so I got it pretty cheap. It doesn't have any fancy Wi-Fi communication or anything, but it does have a timer so that I can set it to only charge during off-peak hours, which the electric company appreciates. Plugs into this standard 240 volt outlet. Overnight, I would take the handle out of the receptacle here on the wall. This is the cable from the charging unit. I would come over to the side of the car, open up the charge door, and just plug it right in. Right away I get to see that there's a light on the dashboard flashing green, tells me it's running, tells me it's charging. And at this rate, on my level 2 charger, I'm getting back about 30 miles of range for every hour that I'm charging. Here's a driver's view of the main instrument panel behind the steering wheel. And over here, the infotainment display. The display has different modes so that you can decide how much information you want or how much is too much information. Here's the most basic mode. The green bars on the left. Over here, that's functioning as your gas gauge. The number that goes with it, 122 miles in this case, is the car's best guess at how many miles you can still go before you're empty. When we're driving, it'll tell you how much power you're using, whether you're using power or regaining power because of regeneration. Okay, here we are inside the car, and we're gonna start up. All you do is put your foot on the brake, push this button. No key is required as long as the fob is inside the car. And now we'll get going down the road. I'm going to get on the interstate highway and we'll see how fast it accelerates. Okay, so I'm approaching the entrance ramp now. And I'm going to now kind of floor it. This is not a golf cart. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. I also want to say a few things about how the car handles in the winter. We've had no problems. I do put snow tires on it, but because of the weight distribution, I think the extra weight of the batteries, it feels very sure-footed whenever there's snow. You do get a little bit less efficiency in cold weather. That's true for gasoline cars as well as electric cars, but you kind of notice it more with electric cars. In our very worst cold weather, you get about 60% of your very best range on a full charge. This particular car, having a 240-mile estimated range, estimated by the EPA, it's plenty for almost all of our driving. We don't have to worry about range except when we're going on trips. But you will notice in the winter that you will have to charge more often.
Najari from Rich City Rides.
All right. So my name is Najari. I'm one of the co-owners here at the Rich City Rides Bike Shop. I'm going to start by just giving you an overview of some of our most popular e-bikes. We carry e-bikes from Aventon, Giant, and Pacific e-bikes, but I'm going to go into our Aventon e-bikes and share my screen in just a moment. So Rich City Rides, we're located right here in Richmond, 15th and McDonald. We are a worker-owned cooperative bicycle and skate shop. We sell single-speed, hybrid, cruiser, road, and e-bikes, repair and accessories. This is the Pace 500 e-bike. It is capable of going 28 miles an hour. If you're just using the throttle, you can press the throttle and you won't have to pedal. With that, it'll go 20 miles an hour. It has a range of 40 miles. And this is all real world testing. So it's using a battery of, with a peak of 750 watts, but it can sustain 500 watts on its hub motor. It has hydraulic disc brakes that have a safety cutoff sensor. So when you hit the brakes, the bike knows. This Pace 500 e-bike also comes with a nice cushy saddle, and that's stock with the bike, along with e-bike ready tires that have a reflective strip going around them so that you're visible at night. And it also features a large LCD screen that's backlit so that you can see it at night. This next one, this is probably the most popular model that we have. This is the Level e-bike from Aventon. This bike can go 28 miles an hour on the pedal assist. Just cruising speed is 20 miles an hour. If you're pedaling along with that pedal assist, you can go past 28 miles an hour. Be careful in residential areas. 25 mile per hour speed limit. This has also been real world tested for a range of 40 miles per charge. It only takes between 4 to 5 hours to fully charge the battery. And that's with the Level e-bike. With the Pace 500, it's 3 to 4 hours, but the Level has a much more powerful battery and motor. This Level, it comes with rack and fenders already on the bike. The back fender can carry about 55 pounds. This one also comes with a suspension fork, which is good for a comfortable ride, and a large LCD display that's also backlit so that you can see how fast you're going and how much battery you have while you're riding the bike. This is the Cinch e-bike. This is a foldable e-bike, 20 miles per hour on throttle, also with a pedal assist. All these bikes are real world tested. This one's capable of going 40 miles on one charge, also with a 750 watt motor. It's foldable. The frame is foldable, the pedals are foldable, the handlebars are foldable, so it's easy for you to store and transport. So you can put it right there in your garage, right next to your electric car, or underneath your desk. On all these e-bikes, you can take the battery off and plug it up into a regular wall socket, or you can just leave it on the bike and plug it up to a regular wall socket. The cinch also comes with suspension forks. You can turn the suspension on or off depending on whether you're going off-road or on regular streets. This cinch also features these really big, really comfortable 4-inch tires for a really smooth ride, whether you're off-road or on bike paths and streets and things like that. Lastly, I wanted to talk to you about an organization that we partner with. Just before we go into the demonstration of the e-bike, Rich City is a nonprofit organization that hosts community rides to get people active and healthy. We use bicycles as vehicles for healthy civic change. We've been to all the parks in Richmond, and if you want to find out more about how you can join us for a ride or just support this movement that's dedicated to leaving nobody behind, you can check out our website at www.richcityrides.org. That being said, I'm going to bring Tay onto the screen. Let me exit out of, stop sharing the screen. And this is my partner, co-owner of the bike shop, Tay, who's gonna show us, give us a demo of, you're gonna use the Cinch e-bike? All right. So welcome to the shop, how you doing? We've got our mask on because we're in the bike shop right now.
So if you can, it has a nice, very robust kickstand. Really durable for this really big fat tire bike. Really, like Najari said, really fat tires. These are 4.0 tires, built for smoothness and a lot of comfort. We have disc brake and rotor to make this bike with the motor have a lot of stopping power, enough stopping power for this particular bike. Now let's go into.
You want to show them the screen and how you turn this thing on?
Okay, so here goes the nice screen, a nice huge bit backlit screen. It's about 2.5 inches tall.
Just turned it on,
and it has big, large displays. Make sure you can see everything that you're doing with this bike. This display will display everything that this bike is doing and how the functions are running. We have a 1 right here, and that's the power level that we're going to use when we start pedaling or when we use the throttle. Now, if we use the up arrow, then we can make the display power up, and I'm going to power it up all the way to 5, just because I know what I'm doing. The energy bar tells me that my battery is mostly charged. So from here, I probably can take a nice quick ride to Emeryville and back. No problem with this battery. As Najari was saying, that these batteries have been tested to go in real life time 40 miles. So if you don't get the scope of what that actually is, that's about from the shop door, which is located in 1500 McDonald Avenue, all the way to the Bay Bridge and back here. So you can range and go back and forth all you want within a day. Very, very nice bike.
That's one trip, 30 miles.
One trip, one charge.
Back there and back.
Because you, from the Bay Bridge to these doors is 36.8.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely can make it there and back on one of these charges. Oh, one other thing I want to, this cup holder is pretty neat, because you can angle it.
Yeah.
So however angle you want it to be, or you can move it to whatever side you want it to be, and it's really cool. It's really convenient. This whole bike was built for convenience. Now let's go towards folding. Let's go towards the folding function of the bike, because it's really neat that the bike is about my size. I'm about 5'10". So let's start breaking this bike down. That is important.
Najari, while you're doing that,
Yeah.
we have a question. We have a question on how much does the bike weigh?
This
The bike is a little over 40.
little over 40 pounds.
Thank you. Do e-bikes have warranties that come with them?
Yes. So with this, just like every other bike, you have a 5-year. No, you have a depending on what you option to. You have a 3 to 5 year plan on the frame, and then you have a year on the components. You have a year warranty on the components, and that is with the manufacturer. We also do a free, we do a warranty program within the shop where we give free maintenance for a year with any bike that you buy from us. So we'll help you take care of this bike and understand this bike as best that we understand it as you get to know the bike also. This is how it folds up. This is why it can fit in your trunk, in your RV if you're going camping or something like that. But it's nowhere where this thing can't really go.
Are you gonna invite people to test ride at your shop?
Well, since we don't have any time to test ride, and I don't have any time to show you this test ride, please, everybody, come in and test ride this bike. They're limited supply. Really need you to come in and try this great foldy bike.
Okay.
Pace 350 and the Pace 500 and the level. You're welcome to come in for a test ride. We're open every day, 12 to 5, except for Tuesdays and Sundays. All right? Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. We might have some more questions after the next presenters, okay?
Okay, we'll be
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Next up is Corey Riley, and he's from 511 Contra Costa and WICTAC, and he has some information on e-bike rebates. Take it away, Corey.
Hi, my name is Corey Riley, and I work for WICTAC, the West Contra Costa Transportation Advisory Committee, and 511 Contra Costa. 511 Contra Costa is a TDM program for the County of Contra Costa County. We have various programs that we try to use to incentivize people to take alternative commutes, greener commutes. You know, we're really trying to get people out of single occupant cars. And so a lot of our incentive programs are focused around getting people to try walking, biking, carpooling, transit, things like that. So just as an example of some of our other incentive programs that we offer, we have our Try Transit program, where if people are interested in trying transit, we'll send them a $20 preloaded Clipper card that they can use on most of the public transit here in the Bay Area. We have our Drive Less program, so if someone takes a pledge that they want to drive less and try walking, biking, taking transit, we'll send them $25 in cash. We also offer over $1,000 to get van pools started. So if, you know, usually for larger employers or people going to the same locations, we can help defray some of those initial startup costs for starting up a van pool. And then to support all those, we also have our Guaranteed Ride Home program. So if people do take an alternate transit mode to work and something goes wrong, their carpool leaves without them because they had to work late or they get sick or something like that, we will reimburse people for emergency trips home through taxi, Uber, Lyft, or whatever if they took a qualifying trip on the ride there. So that's just a little bit about some of our other programs. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about our electric program incentives that we have too. So we do have some incentive funding for installing electric vehicle charging stations. And this would be really anywhere in Contra Costa County. We have a it works as a rebate system. So we would enter into an agreement with someone, and then once they have paid for the installation, paid for all the equipment and all that stuff, we would then rebate the amount that we had agreed to when we entered into that agreement. All of the charging stations that get funded for us, they do need to be available for public use. So this isn't for installing something at your home for your own electric vehicle charging. This is something that would be for public use. So typically we install these at civic type areas. We just put in, I want to say, I think it was 6 dual charging stations at Contra Costa College. We put some at the new San Pablo City Hall. They don't have to just be civic. They can be for employment centers, things like that. They just have to be open and available for the public use. So if someone comes to, say shop at the store or something like that, they can, plug into it or whatever. It can't be behind a gate and just for employees only or just for private use or something like that. But still, we do offer, a good, rebate for those cases where it makes sense. The guidelines are similar to the charge program. Oh, I should have mentioned too that our programs are largely funded by the Bay Area Air Quality Management District and Contra Costa Transportation Authority. And so if you're familiar with the Air District's charge program, which comes out every once in a while with a big sort of chunk and change to fund EV charging, our guidelines are similar to those. We have less funding than they usually do when they open it up to the public, but we have it on a more ongoing basis, if that makes any sense. So for example, we offer up to $3,000 for a level 2 charger, just for an example, and then up to $1,000 if you wanted to do additional ports on it. So if it was a dual port level 2, we would offer $4,000 as an incentive rebate for installing that. We don't have an online application or anything like that. For these, we just ask that you contact me personally, and I can start working with you if this is something that you're interested in and you think you meet our guidelines. And then this is a brand new program, as in it launched today on October 1st. We have a new electric bike rebate program. So this is an incentive program to incentivize people, and we're mostly targeting people who are commuters to purchase a new e-bike or a conversion kit. So a kit that you would hook up to an existing bike to turn it into an electric bike or an electric assist bike. This is available for Contra Costa residents. You have to be over 18. And the rebate is $150 for the standard rebate. We also have half of our funding available for low-income residents. They would get $300 in a rebate. And so if you do want to qualify for the low-income rebate, we do have some income verification, or if you're already on a low-income assistance program, such as SNAP or WIC or something like that, we would also accept that. So starting in October, it actually launched today. You can go to the website that's down there, 511cc.org/rebate, and you can read all the information about it. And then we also have a running tally. We have about over 100 that are available for West County. There's about 500 or so for the entire county of Contra Costa, for residents of the entire county. And so we have a running total of how many are left for each part of the county and all that. But go to the website, and that's where you can find some information. And you could look into getting some of those cool bikes that Najaria was just showing off. And this is my contact information. If you have any other additional questions, obviously feel free to ask them now, or if you wanted to contact me about any of the other incentive programs that we have, I'm here. Thank you.
That is some exciting stuff. I'm excited to use that rebate for my bike that I'm going to get at Najari's shop. And our next presenter is me. So let me share my screen. So the city of Richmond received some MTC funding to launch a partnership with Gotcha. Gotcha is going to be our e-bike share vendor, and in fall, actually since it's October, we're looking to launch in early November. We're going to launch 250 bikes at 25 locations throughout the city. The city gave us some input at the places they would like to have their docking stations. And as a part of this presentation, everyone who has registered for the event is automatically qualified to receive the special discount promo code that unlocks the bike, the $2 unlock fee during the first month after the launch. The promo code is CALI2020, and we're going to watch a quick little video how to use the app. What I will tell you, it's $9.99 a month to register for access for the bike, and for an annual membership, it's $79.99 a year. And we'll be launching, we're going to be announcing a free giveaway of 1 year membership from Gotcha. So we are ready for the video on how to use the app to unlock your discount promo code. Okay, so that's how you use the app when we launch in early November. You have a full month of membership, and you can contact me if you have any more information about the Gotcha e-bike share launch. So next up, we have new e-mobility, and Bryce, I met Bryce Jameson with another innovative e-mobility program or technology, and he recently launched this new company, and we're the first to see it. So Bryce, thank you for being here, and take it away.
All right, thank you, Danae. I hope everybody can see me, but I actually hope you can't, because I have a presentation that is, I think, more important anyway. A little bit of background. I am an engineer working in the charging space. So I met Danae through a charging program, but thanks to the pandemic, my kids ended up in a different province. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. They ended up at my parents' house, and I found myself with a lot of free time and a lot of work to do. And so I started doing things, and I started making projects, and it kind of spun into something a little bit more than that. And we ended up creating what is effectively an e-bike for people on rollerblades, skateboards, quad skates, longboards, basically any sort of movement on wheels. If you have your own skates, if you have your own boards, what can we do to add e-mobility to this? So what is it? It is just a personal mobility device designed for wheeled sports. Now, I've been rollerblading, I like to say, since after it was cool the first time, but before it was cool the second time. It's something that I started doing with the kids. We do it as a family. And one of the motivating factors here is that when we like to go on long skates, my 9-year-old daughter has trouble keeping up. And so I end up pulling her a lot of the way. But I thought, what if I built something that could help her keep up with me? And as usual, because I'm kind of a research engineer, I went way overboard and built something way too big, but she loves it. And then we discovered, oh, hold on, this thing actually is a blast to use. We started showing it to people around the neighborhood, and it turns out that, yeah, this is something that people would really like to use. So a little bit about what it is. I'll give you the engineering numbers first. It is a BLDC hub motor. So the e-bikes that we saw in the presentation before, it's got a very similar electric hub motor to that. It's running in the kilowatt region. That's what I had lying around when I built it, and we thought that's a great thing to use. We're using the same 20-inch rim and 4-inch fat tire for stability. We're going to be using a 48-volt battery system, so standard e-bike style batteries built onto this. I'm a real big fan of modular parts so that you can take things apart and upgrade and use them. The top speed as delivered is 20 miles per hour. So this is if you just stand up on your skates or you stand up on your skateboard and you push on the throttle, it will take you up to 20 miles an hour. And that's uphill. That is, you know, pulling a friend, pulling two friends. We've had a few people chained together. This will pull everyone along up to about 20 miles an hour. So the range as it stands, we're anticipating about a 20-mile range, but I really expect that for a fully loaded system, we're looking at about a 60-mile range. And it weighs about 40 pounds right now. Now this seems really heavy, but it's actually got systems in there that we can reduce that weight. It's modular, it's removable. You can take it apart, you can put it in your house, you can take the handles off. It's not going to be that heavy, but we need a little bit of weight on the wheel for traction. This is, of course, my kid using it down a walking path. It is stable. We've had beginners use it and say, yeah, I can go places I've never been able to go before. It gives me abilities and stability that I didn't have. It is extremely maneuverable. It'll turn faster than you can if you let it. You don't need to replace your wheels. If you're a skater, if you're a skateboarder, you have a longboard that you put a lot of money into, you say, oh, I like this, but I want to have an electric board. Bring your own board. You can pass this between people, different sports. It's handlebars and a wheel. Couple of pictures of people we've been testing with just around the other Richmond, the Richmond on the north side of the border. This is Jesse, who is a grad student at the university, rides a skateboard. This is Brian. I met him through a rollerblading group, and this picture taken with Brian happened about 2 minutes after he saw the device for the first time. He had no idea what we were doing. I said, show up at the park, let's test something new. 2 minutes later, he was blasting around the park, just having the time of his life. This is Dylan. Again, this is about 10 minutes after he's seen it for the first time. We said, can you longboard? He goes, yeah, I think I'm pretty decent on a longboard. Grabbed one out of the car, set him down with it, and he was gone like nobody's business, 20 miles an hour. This is Rachel. Rachel's a quad skater. We took her to a skate park down off a path in Vancouver, gave her the velo, and she just had a great time going uphill. She said, this is fast, this is easy to use. 30 seconds, she was up and running. There's more park shots. Now, Velo is early stage startup. This is kind of one of the first announcements that we made out of it, but I've got a fairly solid plan for how we're going to be delivering this, and I expect to see deliveries mid next year, kind of July timeframe. One of the things we're going to be doing is demo days, because the best way to find out about something like this is to ride it. And I'm really planning on coming down to the Bay Area and testing it in Richmond. I've heard some good things about the trails you've got down there, and I really want to bring down the Velo and show it out to some people. We will be launching a Kickstarter in the next couple of weeks. I'd say I'm about 95% of the way there. I have a few little things to finish off and run through the Kickstarter before it goes live. But I wanted to take this opportunity today because it was a great chance to just show this is what we've got, this is what we can do. I've got a very short video today, if that's all right.
Is this pulling me? Oh no. I can't believe how fast it went, how easy it was to use.
Well, I caught on to it really fast. I was flying within minutes. This was beyond what I expected at all.
I think my heart rate more than doubled with me doing little work, so it's pretty exhilarating.
I'm happy to answer questions that anyone has. Really looking forward to coming down once we reopen the borders and demoing with everybody who's looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Just because of the interest of time, I will ask anyone with questions to please email Bryce directly. Thank you, Bryce, for sharing your new tech. And I need to kind of circle back to Annika Osborne, because with Drive Clean Bay Area, she had a special preferred pricing rate on vehicles she didn't cover. So Annika, go ahead and take it away real quick.
All right, can everybody hear me? Yeah, assuming yes, unless I hear otherwise. So for many people, buying an EV or any car for that matter comes down to finances. I know it did for me and my family. So Drive Clean Bay Area is offering a preferred pricing program with our partner Cartelligent, a car concierge service, in November on select EVs. Last year, we ran a similar campaign for 2 months, and we were able to help 150 people switch to driving electric, which totaled about $165,000 in savings off of the MSRP for those people. And because you attended this event today, we would like to give you priority placement for our preferred pricing campaign, which sounds really fancy. What it means is that we will be giving you the information a couple of days in advance, or maybe like from November 8th through the 12th. We would give anybody who has participated in any of our events information about the cars before we open this up to the general public or consumers. This is important because unfortunately, there is a limited inventory on EVs. So it's kind of like a first come, first served program. So if you are interested in learning about this preferred pricing that's coming up in November, please email me at aosborne@drivecleanbayarea.org. I'll put this email address in the chat. Just let me know that you're interested, and then we'll add you to the letter that we will be sending out in early November. Thank you so much.
Great job. Thank you. All right, so now I'd like to open it up to, I guess, Najari, I think you have a preferred pricing special you want to share as well.
Yeah, that's right. So from now until the end of the year, if you come by the shop and mention National Drive Electric Week, we're offering 10% off of our e-bikes. So drop on through and mention National Drive Electric Week.
And don't forget to use our rebate. The rebate would still apply even if you use that.
Yep. And I don't know if well, let me see. Is it Julia? Maybe Julia's still online, but apparently there's also an opportunity to turn in your old car to get an electric bike as well. So I'm going to send this entire presentation to everyone so that they can have the information that we weren't able to cover. There's a lot of resources for e-bikes. I'm gonna send you, that's actually in this presentation. And Julia, did you have a comment to make?
Just saying yes, that Clean Cars for All has an e-bike grant option coming soon.
Okay. Thank you all for attending this year. And it only takes small changes in your life to save the environment. Take a walk, go on a bike ride, purchase an electric vehicle. Everyone be safe. Thank you.